Okay, now we're going to go over how to add an image or an assignment into your AutoCAD file and scale it accordingly. So here I have a PDF, and I'm just going to drag that into my file. It's asking me for a page number. I'm just going to hit enter, or I can give it a number, 1, enter. Specify insertion point, I can enter anywhere, right? And now it's asking me how big I want it to be. I'm going to scale it after the fact, so this doesn't really matter. And now it's asking me for my rotation, so I can type in 0, hit enter, and then that'll bring it in at 0 degrees. So now it's not the right size. If I were to dimension this scale bar, it's the wrong size, okay? And we'll fix the size of our dimensions afterwards. So I'm going to select our object, and now because this is a PDF, I can actually select things inside. That's because this option up top has snap enabled, and that's only if your PDF was saved in a certain way. Some PDFs don't have that geometry information. If you can't select your PDF like this, then you just need to select the border, right? You see how that's, you select the border here, okay? So now we have that selected, and I'm going to type in SC for scale, enter. And we have our handy scale bar here to scale by, but if we didn't, we can just take a known length. We have to know the length of something on our page if we're going to scale it. I'm going to choose the point, and now I'm going to type reference, R for reference. See, if I look down here, I have my two options, R for reference, space bar. Now I'm going to choose the distance, my known length from here to here. I know that's 35, so I'm going to type in 35, enter. And now if I were to dimension this, so we go back to our scale bar, this should be 10 feet. Now our dimensions are way too small, and that's because our scale factor in the bottom here is 1:1, right? Our annotation scale. So if we go up, so we know right here by our scale bar that this drawing is 1:20. And so we can change our scale factor down here, 1:20, okay? And if you don't have 1:20, you can scroll to the bottom of this list, make a custom one, add it, right? Name it 1:20. And then you need to figure out the units, right? It would be 1 unit, and then the drawing units for 1:20 scale would be 12 times 20. Okay, so it's 240, which we already have, so we can't do that, right? So I've chosen 1:20, and now in order to get my dimensions to display properly, I'm going to go up top to annotate. Under my dimensions, I'm going to go to annotative dimensions. And now when I draw a linear dimension, I type in dim linear, right? Now my dimensions will be a nice legible size. Okay, so we'll also show you how to scale an image that you grab from Google Earth. So if you don't know how to save an image from Google Earth, it's this little button up here, save image, right? Change your resolution to maximum. I turn all this other stuff off, and I turn the scale up. So now when we go to scale an image, we're going to use our reference of this scale bar down here, right? And so if we're referencing an image, the larger our reference is, the more accurate our scaling is going to be. So if it doesn't matter, you can make your scale bar as long as you want, and that will help the accuracy of your scaling. Okay, so we can do however large of an area we want. Zoom in a little bit more. It's good enough. Save the image. Put it on my desktop. Name it whatever. Hopefully it doesn't take too long for us. Okay, and then we'll go back to AutoCAD. Find our image. Drag it in, right? I'm gonna deselect these things because it's just gonna add them as additional geometry. And it's specifying my insertion point. specifying scale, which I don't really care about, right? And it didn't ask me for my rotation in this particular drawing. So now I'm gonna select it again. And notice I selected the border. We can't just click the image and select it. We need to actually either click the border itself or window over. And the way windowing works in AutoCAD, if you notice my window is blue when I go to the right, but then it's green when I go to the left, that's because anything the blue window touches, things need to be completely inside of the blue window in order to be selected. But then anything the green window touches will be selected. So notice the blue window doesn't select the image, but the green does. The blue only does if I go all the way around. Okay, so our image is selected. We'll run the scale command, SC enter, specify our base point. I'm gonna zoom in right here and get this edge of the line. And now I'm gonna hit R for reference. Do the same spot, F8 for ortho, so that I'm not going crooked. And now I'm going to go to the left side of this line, right? And I know that is supposed to be 1,000 feet long. So now our image is way bigger and it is scaled properly. Now it's real life. So if we go to measure a car, it should be, right around 20. The parking spot should be a good 20 feet long. Almost, close enough. There you go.